Morning, everybody. All right, let's see. We were talking about the abomination of desolation. In short, it is almost impossible to overestimate the importance of Daniel's prophecy of the death of the Messiah for understanding Jesus. Okay, according to the book of Daniel, the Messiah will not just come in glory, he will also suffer and die. Perhaps even more striking, Daniel gives a timeline. He will come back 490 years after the rebuilding of the city of Jerusalem, which had been destroyed, but which, blah, 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 7th year of his reign, ordered to be... Okay, I don't want to lose any readers by getting into a numbers game here. No, please be precise. I mean, that's your whole argument, is that there's a precise prophecy and it was fulfilled. Suffice to say that since ancient times, interpreters have calculated Daniel's prophecy as placing the coming of the Messiah sometime during the 1st century AD. Oh my gosh, I wonder if they wanted that to be the answer. I wonder if they worked backwards from the answer they preferred. I expect some readers may be thinking, what? The Old Testament actually predicts the timing of the death of the Messiah? Why haven't I heard this before? Is that what other readers are saying? More like, this is complete bullshit and I don't see why it's significant. This reaction is understandable. I, for one, had never seen any of these passages from the book of Daniel before I started studying 1st century Judaism seriously. For whatever reason, modern-day Christians are often far less familiar with these passages than were ancient Jews and Christians. How do you know? Indeed, many have never even heard of these prophecies, much less reckoned with the claim that Jesus fulfilled them. So you believe a book and you don't even know the words in it? But you don't have to take my word or my math when it comes to Daniel's prophetic timeline for the coming of the Messiah. These ideas have been around for a long time. Listen to the words of the 1st century Jewish historian Josephus, the 4th century Eusebius, and the 7th century Pascal. We are convinced that Daniel spoke with God, for he did not only... Now again, is that a big deal? I feel like when the wind blows the leaves in the trees, or when I hear the little pistol shrimp popping under my boat, that's God speaking to me, and anytime I make noises, that's me speaking to God. It's no big deal. For he did not only prophesy future events, which is just predicting things. I mean, I prophesy stuff all the time. Like, that's why I don't shit in my pants, because I foresee that I need to go to the toilet and I go there and then I take a shit. It's no big deal. But he also determined the time at which these would come to pass. We must count the numbers, that is to say the 70 weeks, which are 490 years, blah blah blah. Okay, remember, there's two ways, at least two, like they can work backwards and make the numbers work because it happened after the book was written. So it's not a prediction. And the other way is, yeah, you just want to find, blah, blah, blah. 70 weeks, 20th year. One must be bold to predict the same thing in so many ways. It was necessary that the 4 idolatrous or pagan monarchies and the end of the kingdom of Judah and the 70 weeks should happen at the same time, and all this before the second temple was destroyed. In short, however one calculates the exact dates spoken of by Daniel, the 490 years between the restoration of Jerusalem and the coming of the Messiah are undeniably completed before the... But the whole question is whether the Messiah has come, and now you're saying because that happened, then the prophecy is fulfilled. You're looking for the prophecy to be fulfilled. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, Daniel's prophecy, and it's not even a prophecy because those aren't well-defined terms. You still haven't said what the Messiah even means, and what does it mean to Bob? Okay. And we know that we can't trust the words that have been handed down for so many times. So we're just drawing circular logic in some murky mud and getting the conclusion we want. This background from the book of Daniel explains one aspect of what many Jewish people in the 1st century were actually waiting for. You keep arguing that. There are diary entries from 1st century Jews saying, I'm waiting, I'm still waiting, still waiting. They were waiting for the kingdom of coming of the kingdom of God and the messianic Son of Man. Again, these words just don't mean anything. Kingdom of God, I keep saying that's earth, that's where we are. Son of Man, that's all the boys. Because that's how reproduction works. It's not hard to be a son of man unless you're a girl. And then you're a daughter of man or woman. Messianic. Yeah, I'm still not sure that word means anything either. Aren't we all messianic? It also explains why Josephus, writing after the temple's destruction, is so amazed at the accuracy of Daniel's predictions. And it explains why a first century Jew, I wonder if Josephus had any invested interest in spreading Christianity. Well, explains why a first century Jew like Jesus could describe his own coming passion and death. Again, we don't know what Jesus said. And it was all written after this shit happened. Along with the destruction of Jerusalem in the temple, as a fulfillment of biblical prophecy, for Daniel had not only prophesied that the Messiah would come, he predicted when he would come, what would happen to him, and what would happen to Jerusalem and its temple. No, he didn't. He said some bullshit about like a beast and then some other bullshit about rocks and metals. You guys want to believe it lines up with this other shit, but that's not what Daniel said. Like, you're reading that into it. And it happened in the first century, 2,000 years ago. Jesus of Nazareth, proclaimer of the kingdom of God and the coming of the Son of Man, was cut off by the Romans when he was crucified, some 490 years after the restoration of Jerusalem under King Artaxerxes. But we can't stop there. The messianic prophecies of the Old Testament give us only the beginnings of an answer to the question, who did Jesus claim to be? For not only did the first Christians believe that Jesus was long-awaited, everybody was waiting and waiting for the Messiah, they also very early on began proclaiming he was divine. Again, that's not an important word. Everything's divine. Where did they get this idea? Did Jesus only claim to be the Messiah? Or did he also say he was called? I'm God.